Good morning. So I'm very sorry I got caught up watching something. I didn't realize the time. Anywho, I am Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I'm going to be doing a reading. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and this is what I was told. Your most secret dreams are about to come true. I'm just saying. I don't know what your dreams are, but they're about to come true. Okay? So let me just get these cards ready. I already shuffled them, but I like to shuffle them again right before I pull cards. How are you guys doing? Yes. Pull some from there. We'll pull some from there. Hi, Diana. All right. It feels like there's a lot of just, flat out wish fulfillment that's being slated. Okay. A lot of wish fulfillment. And we got to make sure we got to make sure that we do what we can to really make these things happen for ourselves. Michael says to pull a card from the very bottom. I don't know what the card is. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look at any of the cards. Hi, Blake. Oh my goodness. Wish fulfillment. I wonder what's going to happen. It feels like everything is falling into place, to be honest. I don't know what you guys are trying to accomplish or achieve or what your dream is, but it feels like everything is starting to fall into place. So, as things fall into place, you need to make sure that you keep a close eye on what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to bring to fruition. It's very easy for things to get distorted. Very, very easy. Okay. This right here. This. Emmy, I've been listening for a month and kept faith that your messages are coming into reality. Why does everything feel like it's falling apart? So here's the thing. First and foremost, these are general readings. So we don't really know who it applies to and how it will play out in your life. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, what's important to did a bug just fly up my nose? I'm really grossed out. I hope that was not a bug. Okay, I think I'm tripping. Okay, let me stop. Okay, no, I'm tripping because now I'm like, is there a bug in my eye? No, there's not. Stop it. Dust. Okay, anywho, here's the other thing. Sometimes what we think we're dreaming of, what these good things that I'm talking about, what we think it might mean for our lives, sometimes our perception is not aligned with the reality of what our life is trying to create. Sometimes, in order to create even the things that are in alignment, the things that we're holding on to that are preventing it need to crumble. It needs to fall apart. And it's really this process that we're in, this process of recognizing exactly what is what potential. What's this potential for? Why do I need to go through this? And really just allowing yourself to ask the questions that are necessary in order to receive the answers you're seeking, right? So, um, for example, uh, I was getting these messages that um, I'm supposed to go ahead and start this nonprofit church, and it's supposed to be something that it's a there's this little gnat in the house. Okay, I'm supposed to start this nonprofit church and it's going to be amazing. And this is kind of how I enter into the space of what my purpose truly is about. And everything seemed like it was going good. And then timelines kind of went wonky. And I was like, whoa, okay, I'll roll with this. Right. And then it worked out and I got the actual nonprofit status very quickly. And I was like, okay, so this is it. This is really how it's going to happen. And the next thing you know, half my board left the freaking board. Yes. Like, yeah, abruptly, half the board left. And I was like, that's some effed caca right there. Like, what the heck? And it felt like the plans were falling apart. It felt like everything was just crumbling and all of this work, all of this investment was all for nothing and that I just wasted all of that. But here's the thing. Instead of sitting there and allowing myself to wallow in that sense of like I've just failed. I just absolutely failed and this whole thing is now like garbage. Um yeah, no. It was the clearing away of the things that were not in alignment with what needed to occur. I'm pretty sure, now this is an assumption on my end, but I'm pretty sure that those individuals, their vision of what is to happen, no, no, you know, because um, there were already indications that I was seeing that showed me that it was more of a profit driven mindset versus a mission oriented, mission driven type of integrity. Right. So, yeah, that was difficult, but that was absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. I wish them the best, but the new people who came onto the board, perfect fit. Perfect fit. Same vision, same mission, same level of integrity, same focus, same priorities. I mean, there was no other way to do it because the reality is this. For many of us, we have the type of loyalty that will cause us to cling to the very things that are the most unhealthy for us. I was actually just telling my husband yesterday, um, the way the departure occurred was quite possibly the best way it could have happened. That was the best scenario that could have happened because short of, how it happened, um this sense of betrayal, really, you know, emotional manipulation type sense, um I would not have let go. There's no way I would have walked away from them ever. Ever. I would have tolerated everything. I would have overgave. I would have made excuses. I would have hung on to the most toxic things ever. That's the type of loyalty that I still have. That once I'm loyal to you, that's going to be it. I'm going to be loyal to you regardless. Regardless. I don't care what you did. I don't, like, no, I got you. I'm with you. It sucks what you're doing, but I got you. I'm with you. And that's the thing. I'm learning that in order for me to reach the places that I need to reach within myself, right? The levels of self love, self empowerment, those type of things, and really stepping into this place of what my purpose is, I need to learn a few more things about myself, about my journey. And part of the way I'm going to do that, I'm realizing, is by allowing my life circumstance to tap into toxic type situations so that I can be aware of where that toxicity still exists within me. It's like this mirroring, right? So the things that fell apart are the things that are reflections of the most toxic spaces within me. I'm still going to be the loyal person that I am, but now I'm realizing to be very selective of who I am loyal to. I thought I had already worked through that. And for the most part, I had, for the most part. But that little tiny part was the part that was the most easily manipulated part of me. So it's like this thing of sometimes people, they ask me this question of, well, I mean, if you have precognitive abilities, how come you don't tell the future? Why don't you do um, fortune telling type sessions? And it's like this thing of, well, yes, I have about a 97% accuracy, maybe even higher than that. But here's the thing, that 97% of the time that I'm right, that's inconsequential compared to the 3% of the time that I could be wrong. Because in that 3% of the time that I could be wrong, I could completely alter your entire journey if you listen to me and I'm wrong. So that 3% means more to me. The correction and the balancing, the responsibly harnessing the abilities, that's so important, and it's this thing. And AP, um thank you for that comment. It's super important, it's super important for us to have these types of conversations because of the fact that we need to get a really solid idea on what it is we're trying to do, on how this might play out, because it's not always going to play out in the way that we see, the way that we assume. And it's okay. It doesn't have to play out in any specific way. The most important thing is for us to remain in a space of allowing our life and our journey to unfold. So let's get started with the cards. See, right off the bat, fulfillment. Fulfillment. This thing of reaching a space of wish fulfillment. Now, in order for your cup to be filled, you have to first get your cup out. And then, secondly, you have to make sure your cup is facing the right way. Because if you put your cup upside down with the bottom being what's on top, there's no way it's ever going to be filled, right? There's no way. And it's going to make a huge mess as your life and your soul tries to fill that cup. It's going to spill everywhere. And it's not this thing of, well, other people can benefit from that. No, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. What's for your cup will only ever be poured into your cup. And if you allow things to pool, it's just going to attract the flies. It's going to attract that rot, right? But there's this richness in the decay. And just because there's richness in the decay doesn't mean it doesn't stink, like a stinky type situation. Foundation in reverse. So this is about really correcting your perception, making sure that your perception and your expectation that results from that perception are properly aligned with the task at hand, with what you are being told by your soul is possibly the next step, right? I like to um deal in the realm of possibility rather than absolutes, because when you look at the potentialities, the possibilities, you then become free to actively help co-create that. When you're working with absolutes, then you're like, okay, I have to do this the right way or I'm going to mess it up. And it creates a lot of tension, um, sometimes even resentment that's unnecessary. It's very unnecessary. So, dealing with absolutes, it's like you need to get your ruler out, you need to get your measuring tape, you need to get all sorts of different tools for precision, but you don't even know what you're creating. So, how could you ever be precise in that process? You can't. However, if you juxtapose that with so let's pretend, let's make an analogy here. um you are the client as well as the architect, right? So you're sitting in the seat of the architect because you're the one that's trying to create, you're trying to design something, some event, some experience, and your client is not really telling you what they want. So um there's no direction in regards to like, um if it's going to be like a period type design, or if it's going to be something from a different region. There's just this, well, I want a structure. Well, what are you going to use a structure for? I'm not too sure. Stuff, to store stuff or to live. Both. Okay, well, how many rooms do you want? Enough rooms. You don't know what you're building, right? You don't know. And so you're going to continue to try. And every single time you try and create this design, the client says, I don't know. Try something else. That's going to create frustration. If you're a very results driven type person, where you providing the results, creating the results that you want, that others want, is what drives you, this is going to drive you nuts because you don't know what you're trying to create. However, you pair that, or you juxtapose that to the concept of acrylic pouring. I mean, both are you have to be artistic for both. You do. You have to have a sense of what goes together. So, one end, you're trying to be this architect of your life. The other end of the spectrum, you are an artist doing acrylic pours. People might be like, acrylic pours are easy because you just pour the acrylic and you let it swirl around and then you're done. It's not so simple. I've seen people do acrylic pours that were horrendous. And I was just like, oh. Mm-mm. You have to understand how the colors marry together, how certain pairings of certain shades, certain hues, how they will interact. Meaning, will they kind of be opposites of each other, bringing out these beautiful qualities that each one has because you're juxtapositioning them, right? Or are they going to clash? You have to have some idea. And then on top of that, you have to have an idea of the different type of acrylic pouring you want to do. Are you going to use a chain? Are you going to use um, a blow dryer? Are you going to blow through a straw? What are you going to do? What is some vision that you have? Some point of inspiration? But the beautiful thing about the acrylic pour is that with that, you're allowing things to kind of happen, but you're the one that's going to decide when to stop, how much to do, and when to stop. You don't have any real control over how that will work out. You're either going to like it or you're not. And if you don't like it, you just paint again. You create a new painting. And I think life is more like an acrylic pour than it is about being this very precise architect. Like, if you don't even know what you're going to eat today because you can't make decisions, how are you ever going to play the architect of your life? How are you going to do that? You're not. You're going to frustrate yourself, which, I mean, maybe that's why you've been so frustrated. Maybe that's why you've been experiencing what you've experienced with the way you view your journey, right? It's not a bad thing to be frustrated, but if you don't know why you're frustrated, you need to begin seeing how you're adding to, how you are compounding your frustration. It can't always be externalized. Your most secret dreams are these things that you want to accomplish without even really knowing what the dream is. You have a sense of what you want to do. You have a sense of this, you have a sense of that. You know, um I have these visions from time to time. They're not really something that I try to have. They're just things that kind of are shown to me, and I'm like, "Ooh, how do I get to that point? Like, I don't get it." And there was this one vision of someone, a friend, sitting on a stage with me. And this is like a big deal type event. I don't know what it is, but it's this sense of like people from around the world have come to listen to me speak. And there's other people on the stage with me. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if I'm just there as some type of MC or what. And as I'm allowing life to simply unfold, even in the situations where it seems like, ooh, maybe I misunderstood, and maybe, maybe this is not the right thing, or maybe this is not going to unfold in the way that I thought, or whatever other self-doubt, right? Whatever doubt that I have. And I'm seeing that as everything begins to kind of like crumble away, this carefully constructed um idea, this list of things that I think this is how it's going to play out. As all of those like kind of drift away, it's almost this thing of, whoa, chills, tingles all over, because of the fact that it's like it wasn't going to play out the way I thought. I still get to that end result, but we go through a completely different path. I'm starting to see why certain people are on the stage with me. I'm starting to understand why, in my heart of hearts, it's like I know specific individuals are my equal in every sense of the word. And it's like, okay, I think what needs to happen now is I need to maintain the level of effort I put into trying to achieve something, some unknown end goal. But I need to stop trying to control the steering wheel to the degree that I'm the one that's causing us to get stranded. Like, okay, so we have this subscription for car wash. Like, my husband and my son are obsessed with car washes. I love it. Not really. I love it. I love being in a clean vehicle, but it's like they're really into car washes, right? And it's the type where if you it's kind of like the old school type where you kind of you drive forward and you get put on a conveyor belt, and they have all these things that just kind of swish around. Right? It's like that. It's not the kind at a gas station. It's the kind where you have no control. You're guided at the very beginning by the worker so that your wheels line up, and then as soon as the machine grabs onto your wheels, you don't touch that steering wheel and you leave that in neutral. And you will be dragged ahead in the perfect time and space, all of that. And it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that where it's you allowing yourself to be cleansed. For years now, anytime I go with them to go get a car wash, to me, I always think of how a car wash is the perfect analogy for ascension. It's this crazy, chaotic thing, all these sounds, these smells, all sorts of different chemicals and physical processes to cleanse away the things that are not organically part of your vehicle, to cleanse away the debris that's embedded. Sometimes you need pressure washing around your tires or whatever it is. But it's this entire process that clears away the things that are unnecessary, the dirt of other people's opinions, the dirt of your perception that's rooted in other people's distorted expectations of you, their demands of who they want and need you to be. Do you want your dreams to come true? Or do you want specific dreams to come true because You have those dreams in order to impress other people. Yikes. Why do you have your dreams? What is your dream rooted in? Is it something that you want for yourself? Or is it something that you want for yourself because it will impress the people who aren't impressed by your existence to begin with? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've learned to no longer try and impress people. I used to try and impress people with my aesthetics when I was much younger. I used to take about 3 hours to get ready to go run an errand. Granted, I had a ton of hair, and about 2 of those hours was spent on drying hair. Like, I had a ton of hair. And it was this thing of always being worried that my hair was not perfectly styled. I don't have straight hair. My hair frizzes. It has a weird texture to it, and I had a lot of it. And so I felt like I needed to straighten all of it. And because I did that often, my hair was very dry at the ends. It was down past my butt most of my life. It's always been a length between the bottom of my butt and the back of my knees. It takes a lot of effort to take care of hair that long and that thick. And it took even more effort because how much heat styling I did, it damaged the ends, and therefore I had to do more to conceal the fact that in trying to look healthy and put together, I actually was making it worse for myself. How many of us do this? And if you're doing this, how could you ever have enough energy, enough drive to truly accomplish your dreams? How could you? You can't. You're so distracted by trying to create some polished exterior to impress people. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but most of my live streams, I'm in my pajamas. I don't know if you know that. And I don't really wear makeup, but once in a while, yeah. Um, if I feel like it, depending on my mood, or if I'm trying to conceal my mood, I'll put makeup on, or I'll dress up, or I don't know. You ever notice how I only ever really um, change out of my pajamas and do something with my hair and my makeup when I do a podcast? Why do you think that is? I don't want to disappoint my co-host. I feel like if it's just me, like I don't care. I don't care. If you don't like my aesthetics, too bad. And I know my co-host Ocean would never be disappointed. But here's the thing, like, I want to show up to a degree that will be appropriate for what we are doing together. That's something I'm putting on myself. How many times do you do this to yourself? And how many things do you do yourself like this for? Anyone else, I'm just like, well, you know what? If you don't like me not having makeup, and yeah, no, I don't have makeup on. This is my skin. If you don't like me having makeup on, if you like me having makeup on, and I don't like, I don't care. Don't work with me then. See how that works? Because her opinion matters to me, and I don't want to be um not polished, or whatever it is. It's not really anything cognitive that I'm thinking of. It's more of this thing of, I want to match energy. She's showing up to the degree that she's showing up, and I don't want to be in jammies if she's not in jammies. I mean, I just don't. I feel like that's disrespectful for me to do that in a work setting if she's not in jammies. So that's why I do that. But outside of that, I mean, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to dress how I dress. I'm going to, whatever. Yo, I'm wearing fleece lined. Oh, my legs aren't shaved. I don't shave. I have alopecia. It's fine. It's fine. Would I ever stick my leg up in the air like that if I have someone else on a live stream with me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I would not. Why? Well, because I want to be mindful of the other person. I want to be mindful of what we are trying to create together. Are you mindful of what you're trying to create for yourself? Mindful of the parts of you that feel insecure and mindful of the parts of you that are absolutely confident in what you're doing. This foundation, the foundation card is in reverse. It tells me that you have the map, but you're not reading it properly. That's why you feel lost. That's why you feel lost, right? That's why you feel directionless. That's why you feel like you're not getting to where you want to be or need to be, because the map is showing you that you should have already, but you're not. Well, that map is upside down. Depending on how you hold that map, depending on the way you view it, that's what's going to create the ease of your travel or not. Grounding, being ungrounded. So for many of us, we're like, our goal is to ground, is to ground, is to ground. And it reminds me of when I brought my girlfriend on the podcast with me, and she got a little stern. For her, that's stern. She's very soft spoken. And I was like, I never figured out how to ground. And she goes, wait, 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 wait. Why would you say that? And it was this thing of like, because that's kind of my perception. I'm not grounded like other people are. And it's this thing of I'll never be grounded like other people are because I'm not other people. When you try and do your spiritual journey by numbers because someone else said that you need to accomplish this and that, you're going to be so focused on the technique that you'll never actually be able to be present to receive the experience. Don't be so focused on the way you perform the technique. Mm-mm. No. Nope. No. I'm focused on what I'm doing, the task at hand. I'm focused on that and neutrally observing the way the task at hand is taking me closer and closer to some intangible unknown that is my destiny. I don't know how it plays out, and I'm not meant to know. I'm meant to live through it and process it in order for me to know. Incubation, you're being pulled out of your shell. You just are. You're being pulled out of your shell, and it's something that you're going to feel like you're being broken open. Okay, like absolutely just cracked and torn apart. Gosh, this is intense. This is super intense. Do you guys feel that energy? I feel some type of way. It's not a bad feeling, but I mean, anywho, guidance in reverse. Allowing yourself to receive guidance, but also first filtering that guidance through your discernment and perception. Okay. You have to filter it. You can't just blindly take it in. High priest or priestess responsibility. You're responsible for the way this plays out. And I think for some of us, part of what we do is we ask other people for their opinion, for their advice, not because we need it, but because we've already come to some conclusion for ourselves, but we don't want to take ownership of that conclusion. that decision. And if someone else tells us what to do, then it's not our fault if it fails. It's not our fault if it doesn't work out. Yeah, it is. It's still yours. It's your life. It's still your experience. No one else can own that. So now comes a time for you to begin really making decisions for yourself. If you allow yourself to make these decisions, to really sit and think, I don't know. I don't, Blake, is that you? This energy is just intoxicating. It's intoxicating. It's just water. It's just water. Stop. Maybe I'm just thirsty. I don't know. Dehydration is a mofo. I'm just saying. Okay. Prosperity in reverse. Whoever is trying to derail your progress, they're not going to succeed. Let me not. See, that's why Blake is my twin. Look at this. Look at this. People on Facebook need to see this too. It's probably Blake. It's probably Blake. Okay. Feminine in reverse. It's just this weird thing that many people are going through, and that weird thing has to do with you being upside down in your perception of yourself. Your most secret dreams are about to come true. What's your secret dream? You went to cotillion. Oh my God, y'all. He keeps it classy, is what it is, you know? He keeps it classy. Oh, this is the wrong one. He keeps it classy. He knows how to act. You know what I mean? So I never had a cotillion. I never had my debutante ball. In my culture, you're supposed to. You're supposed to when you're 18, and I never did. I'm still bitter off of that. Anywho. Okay, conclusion in reverse. This is not something that's ending. This is the beginning of something. Your dreams are really just right there at the cusp. The cusp. What are your secret dreams? Do you even know? Do you know what you really truly want to achieve for yourself? Do you know what your goals are? Do you know what you most secretly desire? Cycle. Cycles. allowing yourself to go through the cycles, the waxing and waning, the ebb and flow, allowing yourself to experience periods of fullness, periods of depletion, because when you experience the opposing polarities, you get a better idea. You're better able to define for yourself what each one is. You know what I mean? Confidence in reverse. We're not really sure. We're not really sure what we're supposed to do, what our purpose is, what we're here for. And it's okay for you to not be sure. See, the beautiful thing about this, I'm going to tell you right now, people who think they know something, you will not convince them of anything outside of what they think they know. You just won't. They will defend that knowledge to the bitter end. But when someone is not sure, they're not fully committed yet to whatever beliefs, whatever knowledge they've been given, they're questioning, they're still able to hear and change based on new information. It's okay if you're unsure. It puts you into this place of tremendous power. Power because you're unsure? No. Power because you're not closed off to different potentials being offered to you. I'm not allowed to know how things will completely work out. I'll be given a very good idea. I will. I'm usually given a very good idea. I'm given advance warning by my soul because, girl, you gotta give a girl a heads up real quick, because if you don't, you just never know what you're gonna get from me. You just don't. You don't. But if you give me some idea and it happens and I kind of have some idea of the potentiality when it's happening, I'm not gonna be as likely to fight it, because I'll be like, oh, Michael, is this what you've been telling me? Is this what you've been showing? Is this it? Is this it? And I'm so busy questioning, like, is this really, is this how it's going to play out, that I don't have enough energy and focus um, into fighting being present. And maybe that's why you don't need to know. Maybe that's why you should have some idea, but you don't need to know all of what's happening. Yes, a 50% coupon. No, it should not be on. Oh, yeah. Well, hot diggity dang. My websites are still 50% off. It's still on. Yeah. It should have shut off a few days ago. Yeah, it's still on. It's still on. I just looked. If you need a reading or energy work, 50% off private sessions, workshops, all of that. The only things that don't qualify for the 50% off are tangible goods and memberships. I got to be fair. You can't have a 50% off membership when everyone else is paying full price. That's not how it's going to work. That you got to be fair. All right. So beauty in reverse, not seeing the beauty of what's happening. Just because the rose is upside down does not make it suddenly no longer a rose, right? It's still a rose. And you have to be able to allow yourself to inhale the sweetness. Message in reverse. Not receiving the messages, or receiving the messages in a way that your soul did not intend for it to be received. rigid in reverse. So this is you becoming, this is you in the process of becoming much more flexible. Flexible strength is so much more advisable when it comes to your spiritual development. Being rigid in your expectations, rigid in your perception, rigid in the way you conduct yourself, the way you hold yourself, the way you see yourself. It's not advisable. That's almost like a surefire way for you to experience the feeling of being broken. Complicated. No, it's not. It never is. The only reason it becomes complex is because we convert it into a complexity. It's never complicated. It isn't. You're either going to do something or you're not. You're either going to learn something or you're not. You're either going to agree or you're going to disagree. It's not complex. So I remember years ago, my mother was in the hospital. She had yet another bleed on her brain, right? She had several strokes and then she had several heart attacks and then she had bleeding in her brain because she was on blood thinners. And it was interesting because the doctors, it was an entire, we're basically seeing all the specialists they could possibly send us. Literally. Every single organ system had a specialist and all of them were involved in her care. And so it was this thing of like, this is a very complex situation. The neurologist wants to do an exploratory testing where they're going to inject radioactive material into her body in order to assess the different cardiovascular structures. And then comes the nephrologist, the kidney specialist, and they're saying no because that radioactive isotope will damage her already failing kidneys. And they're arguing, they're bickering back and forth. And everyone's like, this is complex. And I said, no, it's not. It's very simple. What are you doing the exploratory procedure for? To confirm what we believe is happening. Well, once it's confirmed, what changes about the treatment plan? Well, there's no treatment. We can't do brain surgery or anything like that. So then why are you going to injure her kidneys beyond repair? Well, to confirm what we're speculating. If what you're speculating is not going to be changed by the confirmation, why would we further compound an already quote unquote complex situation? These are specialists. I'm uneducated. I asked the doctors that point blank, all of them in the same room. Nephrologist had a smirk. Neurologist was looking at me crazy. Mm-hmm. Involved the cardiologist. Is there an issue with her cardiovascular system that continues to have issues? So, heart attack, stroke, what's going on? What is this about? If you want to address something that continues to create strokes and heart attacks, we have to know what it is. And when I pressed the cardiologist, he let me know she had a minor malformation in her heart. It's a very, very small chamber. Sometimes people, they have this little pocket that exists in their heart, and the blood will pool there. It's usually not a big deal, but if you have AFib and your heart starts to go wonky, you get tachycardia, it goes real fast. It's going to eject whatever clot formed in there. But when you're too aggressive with blood thinners, hell yeah, you're going to bleed in your brain. You're going to bleed everywhere. But no one's taking anything into consideration because no one is looking outside of what they're fixated on. The neurologist will always ever be only fixated on neurological issues. Cardiologists will only ever be fixated on cardiac and cardiovascular issues. Nephrologists only on the kidneys. I mean, is that how you live your life? Separated into different organ systems? Or do you see yourself as a whole being organism? You're listening to these specialists who don't take into consideration whole being wellness. You have to look at all the different factors in your life. You have to. You have to, you have to, you have to. Because one thing is interconnected with another thing, which is connected to another thing and another thing and another thing. And if you don't take all the things into consideration, well, that's how you turn a simple situation into something complex. And you know what we did? I denied them the permission to further damage my mother's kidneys just to stroke your ego that you're right. If it's inoperable, it's inoperable. Leave her alone. Quit poking and prodding her. Leave her be. Titrate the medication. Get it dialed in just right. Quit playing with yourself in that way, where you're going to do excessive or you're going to go into a space of depletion. Titrate. Titrate it. Get it dialed in just right. How much firmness do you need, and how much flexibility? How much rigidity versus the flexibility? How much give? How much take? How much are you listening and how much are you communicating? These are all things that are very simple. The difficulty is in the calibration of how much, the ratios of each. And when you put more focus on the end result rather than the focus that's necessary to produce the end result, you're going to be playing with yourself in a way that's going to block all your dreams from coming to fruition. You have to titrate your effort. You have to figure out what to focus on and when, how much focus of that needs to be applied and when it needs to be applied. Strength. You have the strength to go through this entire process. You do. You have the strength. You have the ability to do this. You have um, previous life knowledge, like earlier life. You've been through a lot already in life. I don't know if you realize this. We've all been through so much, whether it happened to us or we witnessed it as it was happening to someone else. We've been through a lot. And you need to begin allowing yourself to go back and retrieve the information from all of these different experiences that you've already had. You're an expert on your life. You just don't want to believe you are. You just want to um, continue to choose to believe that the people who misjudged you, those who misunderstood you, those who didn't have the capacity to understand the gravity of someone like you chose to believe them. I have had a lot of people in my life tell me that I'm too intense, too emotional, too verbose, too silent. I need to smile more. I need to smile less. What am I smiling for? All sorts of different things. All sorts of different things that oppose what other people say to me. I talk too much. I don't talk enough. Why do I talk about weird things? Why do I not share what I know? Like, you can't please everyone. And if you waste all your time trying to understand how to please people who are incapable of being satisfied, let me repeat that. These people are incapable of being satisfied. That is an absolute drain of your time, your energy, your potential, all of that. No more of that. Even fledglings eventually become full grown. Even fledglings, okay? Being a fledgling, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're less than. It means that you are still needing some life experience. That's it. Dream a beautiful dream. I think your dream is going to come true. Whatever your secret dream is, I think it's going to play out in a way that's going to leave you feeling very fulfilled. So, new birth guarded vigilantly. You don't have to guard yourself in this way. You don't have to be vigilant in that way. You have to allow yourself to enter into a space of experiencing, of allowing. Allow yourself to be inspired. Be inspired by your life. Be inspired by what other people's lives are teaching you. Release a dark wound and let love live. But it came in reverse. So this is telling me, Pisceans, whoever this is, they're not letting go. They don't see you as the rotting fish. Michael goes, why is your face like that? I didn't see my face. What was wrong with my face? He says, you look so concerned. I don't know. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. You have to release the hyperfixation with dark things interfering. Okay? Oops. What you need to do is implement some type of solution so you don't have to keep worrying about that, right? Learning about your energy, how to harness it. My classes can help you learn that. She feels, she knows, but again, in reverse. For many of us, this is telling me that you're not even allowing yourself to feel. So if you don't allow yourself to feel, how are you ever going to know? You're not. I'm needing help to learn to advocate without starting the war. Sometimes the act of advocacy is war. How can you stop someone from perceiving your advocacy as war? I've dealt with so many, so many, so many medical situations with my family having all these like really intense medical crises. I remember one time the staff was denying my brother of his patient rights. And because I am his power of attorney on file, it's notarized, it's on file. um, because they denied me, they denied both of us our patient rights. I'm technically under that umbrella, right? And so they were expecting me to launch a war, which I was prepared to. And then they tried to dick me around. It was just about shift change. I'm so glad because I went live. I'm so glad that I went live and I got other people's opinions, perceptions, knowledge of medical practices and whatnot. And someone pointed out it's shift change. They're trying. I was like, oh. And so I insisted I needed to speak to the house and the house supervisor. I need to speak to whoever's in charge. I'm not leaving. And they had me wait and wait and wait in hopes that I would leave. Oh, hell no, I'm not leaving. No. And they came down and they spoke to me in a public waiting room, violating our right to HIPAA, medical privacy. And if you guys were part of that live stream, You could hear the tone he was using with me. He was inviting me to war. Why? Because once I engaged, he was within his grounds, his right, his authority to eject me from a private campus and forever bar me from returning. For many, advocacy is war. When you advocate, you are undoing their power over you, the power they're trying to encourage you in a manipulative way to allow them to have. You know, the most powerful thing I did in that? I asked them a simple question. I'm sorry, why are you raising your voice at me? I can hear you. You're standing right in front of me and you're using big arm gestures. Is there a reason? Like, basically, are you having a bad day? Because I'm here to speak calmly about patient rights and patient advocacy. And he shifted. He shifted that. You know what he ended up doing? He ended up sitting beside me. He ended up really talking to me because he knew, you're not going to manipulate me. I'm not going to play the game the way you want me to play it. To me, this is not a game. The act of advocacy for most people is an act of war. And you know what ended up happening? He ended up being the very person who defended the absolute shit out of my brother. He even came into work early the next day to check on my brother personally, in person, multiple times. You know what he told my brother? Your sister's something else. If I'm ever in this type of situation, I want her to be my advocate. Now I know why you gave her power of attorney. Oh, you best believe I had every intention to take legal action, to file medical torts, to file with the state, patient right violations. The denial of human rights, violation of human rights of a dying man. I was ready to take that all the way. I'm not going to show you my hand. That hospital is very lucky, very, very lucky that my brother was like, no, we're not taking legal action. I was like, are you fucking do you know? You know, he's like, no, he didn't want to. That's the only reason I didn't. Advocacy is an act of war for those who want to remain in control. Speaking up, advocating for yourself. It's not just in the medical setting. Advocating for yourself is an act of war all on its own. And it doesn't have to be performed in yelling, large gestures, or any of that. Some of my most powerful acts of war were times when I advocated for myself in a very calm, very neutral tone. You want to try and bully me? No. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now what? What next? And people don't know what to do with that. They don't. They don't know what to do when you don't buy into what they're trying to manipulate you into participating in. The moment you participate, that's it. That's it. I was watching this video, and first, I want to preface this with saying I once was going to be a peace officer. Okay. I took all my criminalistic classes and, all of that. I was actually serious about becoming law enforcement. And so I still have quite a few friends who are law enforcement. I have no problem with properly trained properly behaving law enforcement. This video that I saw, though, someone was trying, several officers were outside someone's door, and they were trying to get the person to answer the door to open it. You don't have to open the door. You don't have to open the door. They can knock all they want. You don't have to say a single word. You don't. You just don't. And unless they have a warrant, they can't just enter your home. There's rules and regulations they have to abide by. But here's the thing. If you don't know what those rules and regulations are, they can coerce you to enter into their jurisdiction. Maritime law. We'll get into that in a different. We'll talk about that privately. I'm perfectly fine chatting with you guys about that. As a matter of fact, I want to bring someone on to talk to the private exclusive chat area about all of this, about a lot of the sovereignty stuff, yo. And here's the thing, though. Someone was saying for that video, because of course I went to the comments, like I wanted to see what people were saying in the comments. I wasn't going to comment. And someone who actually knew, because I've had law enforcement friends talk about this. If you open the door, the first thing they do is they put their foot in the door across the threshold. And I knew exactly why. Because then if you try and close the door on them, that's then assault. You assaulted their foot. Now they have reason to enter. Now they have reason to engage you. It's a manipulation. When you don't want to engage, don't open the door. This goes beyond law enforcement. This goes into when people are trying to coerce you to open the door just a crack for your spiritual journey, for the relationships you have with other people, connections, work, all of that. Don't even open that door even just a little bit. Even just a little bit. No, no. No, 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 not even just a little bit. Once you're out, you're out. That's it. You're out. You don't just get tossed out for no reason. But you don't. For me in my life, the reason I have minimal drama, once you're out, you're out. I am too busy to entertain any of that game. I am too busy bringing my dreams into fruition. And let me tell you, yes, my dreams involve global things. My dreams involve collective healing, collective empowerment. But I do want to tell you, even if your dreams are strictly for you and your benefit, that's okay. You don't have to be a martyr. You don't have to have your dreams be nothing but trying to be philanthropic, uh, all of this, like, really, I don't know. You don't have to be a savior in order for your dreams to be validated. It doesn't have to be dreams of saving the world or else it doesn't count. No. You can have a dream of having a huge house if you want, if that's what your dream is. But I mean, what are you going to do in that house? Do you need that? Or do you want that? Do you dream of that in order to impress the people who are not impressed by you? Is it your dream to have a specific car, specific wardrobe, specific aesthetics, specific whatever? And if you do have these specific dreams that really are only for you, which that's okay, that's still a valid dream. Do you have that because you're trying to impress other people? The perfection of your life. See, in reverse, it was in reverse. Here's the thing. This is a lot of people are experiencing this, where they're trying to present their life as perfect in some way, but in reality, it's burning down. It's burning down. And in no way or shape or form would I ever celebrate someone else's demise. Like, mm-mm, that's just not the kind of person that I am. I don't care what our history is. I'm not going to celebrate horrible things happening to you. But here's the thing, the message of that is horrible things are not happening to you. Horrible things are happening because these are events that need to happen, but you happen to perceive them as horrible. And that's why you consider them to be horrible things. Seeing the true you. Seeing the true you. Allowing yourself to really be able to see who you are, how you are. Not doing this with the intent of making it this wild goose chase for pathology, disease, brokenness, or any of that. Just really seeing who you are. Focus on the light, but it's in reverse. So this is telling me that it's okay for you to, well, no, let me rephrase that. It's more than okay for you to focus on your shadow aspects, to focus on the things that are contained within the shadow. Did you know that most of your personal power is in the shadow aspects of you? Shadow is not intrinsically evil. Darkness is not intrinsically evil. It's just not. What people do in shadow could potentially be evil. Yeah. They're hiding it away, right? But for our talk, the parts of you that are in the shadows of your auric field, your auric kingdom, these are the parts of you that as a child, as a young adult, society, your environment, your family, whatever it is, they told you you don't have permission to have that, be that, tap into that. Why? Well, because societies are structured in a way that they demand compliance in order to control you. You can't be powerful like that because if they allowed you to, you would be too strong for them to control. You would be what's called an actual sovereign. A lot of people talk about sovereignty, but they don't even really know what it is. What is sovereignty? Look up the definition. By definition, the highest authority. That means no one else tells you what to do. You decide for yourself. And when you actually are a sovereign, by virtue of your sovereignty, you must uphold and respect the sovereignty of others, whether they are capable or not, willing or not, to see themselves identify as a sovereign. Why do you think I don't like telling you what to do? You can't be a sovereign and then tell other people what to do. That's not how it works. It's just not. It's not. Without our shadow, would we even have our light? Without our shadow, we wouldn't know what our light is. We would be blind. Stare at a light bulb for a prolonged period. During the day, you might damage your retinas. Maybe you shouldn't. You stare at something bright for a prolonged period, you become light blind. You become light blind. You have no idea of depth perception. You become light blind. And a lot of what we're taught right now is to become light blind, to intentionally choose to be light blind, to only see one aspect of yourself and deny all others. That's a surefire way to deny your dreams from coming true. Bring it into form. in reverse. This is not something you have to walk towards. This is something that's being created for you, around you. Ooh. Mm-hmm. They're being created for you right now. Card number 11, diving for light. Diving for light, allowing yourself to go very, very deep into the essence of you. Shadow self, patience, choices. So as you go through this shadow self work, you're probably going to lose your patience with yourself and lose patience with the process. You're probably going to fail to realize that you have so many more options than you realize. You're still going to have to surrender. You're going to have to surrender to the process that you're in. You're going to need to take a time out from all the different things that have been really just taking your attention, your focus, distracting you, basically. Walk your truth in reverse. It's going to be hard to walk your truth when you haven't even stood up yet. Ooh. It's hard to walk your truth if you don't even know how to stand. Have you tried that? Have you ever tried sitting in crisscross applesauce for like, I don't know, hour, 2 hours? When I live stream, I sit in crisscross applesauce. Actually, I sit in full lotus position. That's how I always sit when I live stream. And sometimes if I'm live streaming for several hours at a time, which is not uncommon, not uncommon. All I know is after that 888 portal, I was stiff AF. I was stiff AF. It was hard to walk. For the first like minute or two, it was hard to walk. I needed to stretch and get myself all loosened up again. And then it was fine. Free spirit in reverse. You've forgotten the truth of your freedom. You've allowed yourself to be convinced of specific lies. That will be changed. It will be changed. The more you're in compliance with your dreams coming true and the process that your soul presents to you in order to make that happen, you'll begin to develop a depth of gratitude and have more and more things to celebrate. See, 15 and 6. 1 plus 5 is 6, and then 6. These are mirrors of each other. First, you have to change and return back to a place of singularity, hence the 15. And when you do that, you'll exist in gratitude. And when you exist in gratitude, you'll be a reflection of the celebration that you actually are. It's beautiful stuff. Cards are singing to you. Okay, communication is key. Expect powerful changes. You're very close to achieving your goal. You have to speak it into being and then have this expectation of that change to be initiated. You're very close to achieving your goal. Very, very close to achieving your goal. First, adjustments are required. You need to adjust a few things, your perception, your stance, whatever it is. A time to give rather than to take, but it was in reverse. So this is telling me that you need to be less meticulous. Okay, so Virgo, right? Virgo energy, very meticulous, detail oriented, all of that. You have to be less that, much less that. A time to give rather than to take. It's a time to receive. That's why it's in reverse. You're being told you need to begin allowing yourself to receive, maybe receive communication. I don't know. Probably. All right. This lack of awareness, Blu-ray awakening, we're all Blu-rays. Okay. This lack of awakening is, Michael says, grinding my gears. You don't even have gears. What are you talking about? Don't bring her here. Don't. He goes, you're rather pleased with that. With saying you don't even have gears. I guess I smirked. And then he goes, maybe Marlene can talk to us. Maybe not. Anywho, twin ray healing. So it's this lack of awareness of what this healing process is, right? This lack of awareness, this lack of wanting to know, bordering on avoidance, or I'm repeating what he's saying. This when I said bordering on avoidance, he goes, I'm talking to you. Mhm. New dimensions in reverse. You're not going to reach higher level of dimensional consciousness until you build up the areas that you dug into in order to toss out and build up sigil. You have to rebuild that galactic heritage in reverse. So there's not going to be any galactic assistance on this. They're hands off. The alien, the aliens are hands off. Okay. This is going to be a full on human experience. So things are about to get really intense in the last couple minutes of this reading. Do some stretches, get up, do some side bends and sit ups, a few jumping jacks, get your body pumping blood. It's about to get real. Okay, here goes. Should I just pull a last card? So there was no betrayal that took place. There was no abandonment. It's making my scalp itch. um, so many people are like, so and so abandoned me, they betrayed me because they left. You know, those different concepts. Whatever told you that they were supposed to be part of your life long term? Whatever told you that they were going to be right beside you this entire time? Did someone tell you that? Or was that a perception that you just randomly created for yourself? Because none of us actually know how long someone is destined to be with us. Whether it's a romantic relationship or it is a friendship, family, parental, whatever it is, no one actually knows. No one actually knows. And sometimes it's even this case of the person still wants to be around you, be with you, but they've transitioned into the afterlife, right? So no one really knows any of this stuff. And if you have no idea of how long someone is destined to be with you, how is it abandoning you when they're gone? It's not abandonment. It's a lack of awareness of the actual trajectory of the journeys the two of you, your souls, agreed upon. This is something that needs to come out of the shadows. This hiding of pain, this hiding the hurt of how certain things played out. Maybe it's a work thing. Maybe it's a family thing, a romantic thing. Who knows? Only you know that. Ancestral magic in reverse. The ancestors are not going to get involved in this. They're not. I think for some of you, There are some components that exist within someone else. And in order for you to get to the next part of your journey, you have to cross paths with that someone else so that you could retrieve the parts of you that they held on to. And I don't mean held on to as though they were malignant in their holding on. No, they held on to these parts because they were asked to by your soul. This might be from a previous life. This might be from this life. I don't know. But it feels like there are things that are needing to occur that are going to be beyond the scope of your comfort. And, I mean, you don't always have to be comfortable in the process of growth. As a matter of fact, growth is often uncomfortable. Does the mother get more comfortable as she grows the baby in her belly? Become easier? No, it becomes a lot harder. The more the baby grows, there's less room to breathe, there's less room for food. You're more uncomfortable. So then what needs to happen? Offer peace of mind for a rainy day. I just got a notification. Offer peace of mind for a rainy day. So, they like a cistern. Oh my God, they're the holding tank. This is about your holding tank. This is someone who's holding a potential that belongs to you. I don't think they realize they're holding the potential, though. I don't think they know. Long term success. Oh, okay. I think you're going to be successful in retrieving the energy. I think you're going to be successful long term. I think for whoever this reading resonates with, whatever your most secret wish is, because this is about wish fulfillment, right? Whatever that is, you are probably going to get your wish to come true. And on top of that, it's going to be a long-term goodness. Long-term goodness entering into your life and your journey. But you have to be willing to allow it. If you don't allow it, then you don't allow it. And that's that. It's not going to come. It's not going to. Profitable evolution. Okay. But yeah, offer peace of mind for a rainy day. They're your cistern. They are the holding tank for that liquid energy, for that hydroplasma that can serve as fuel. There's this intensity to it. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. There's an intensity to it that I can't quite, probably because I don't want to know. I don't know. You'll have to spend some time to try and make sense of what this means and how to apply it to your life if it can be applied at all. I got to get going. I hope for whoever needed the confirmation that you received whatever confirmation you were needing, and I hope the news for you is good. I hope the way this process unfolds provides you with the greatest potentiality for healing, for growth, for all these amazing, beautiful things. I feel like so much beauty is about to be injected into our lives. We have to go beyond our fear. We have to hear our courage louder than we feel our fear. Hear your courage louder than you feel your fear. Okay? And you can quote me on that. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and join me when I'm live. I'll be live probably tomorrow. See you here. Yes, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you here in church. Bye, everyone.